fellow simmers, and welcome to my channel, Witch BZ Sims. In today's video, I have two new sims that I want to introduce to you. The two sims that you'll see in this video, they make up the Roland family. I plan on moving them into Willow Creek. They actually live in the Creek Cabana. I recently did a renovation video. If you want to see that renovation, I'll put a link in the description down below. I actually do intend on completely revamping Willow Creek, and that means I am giving all the townies makeovers and I'm basically redoing all of their houses. Very soon I plan on starting a series on this channel where I play all of the families in Willow Creek rotationally. Lately I've been playing a lot of The Sims 2 and I've been enjoying playing with and seeing the lives of the people in that town evolve. I personally feel like I have a tendency to always start a new game and play with one family until I get bored and start all over, and I tend to forget all about the other families and households that are already in game, and their lives don't really progress much, or they do random things like adopt 4 kids, 3 cats, and a horse, even though they live in like a 1-bedroom house. So I think by playing the households in Willow Creek, our little town can progress in a way that actually makes sense. Along with playing with the families that already exist in Willow Creek, I've also decided to introduce more original Sims into the story of Willow Creek. The Roland household consists of a brother and sister that moved away from a toxic situation in the city to hopefully have a peaceful and new start in Willow Creek. I don't know if the Sims team recently did an update to the base game worlds, but I did notice the other day when I was playing that you could kind of see like this landscape that kind of looked like a city to me. And for me, that kind of like makes sense because I kind of see Willow Creek as like this suburb that's kind of like on the outskirts of a city. And the way I play the game is I kind of like see all my towns as being connected. Like I have my own rules for if it makes sense for my Sims to travel there and back home. So like for example, towns like Sulani, Windenburg, and Henford and Bagley, I kind of treat them like any other destination world, like Tartosa. Well, I don't think Tartosa is a destination world per se because your Sims can technically like just go there, but like would be like another one of the towns that I kind of see them as like you have to travel there, like you're gonna go take a vacation there, but they're not gonna just go take a day trip there and like come back home. I kind of like see them as like destination worlds, so it doesn't really make sense for my Sims to just like jump straight there and then jump straight back there. So, and it also doesn't like make sense for my Sims to travel to places like Oasis Springs and Strange Town because to me they're like completely different ecosystems. So like I kind of like if I have my Sims living in Willow Creek, it kind of does make more sense for them to travel to places like San Myshuno because like they're leaving the suburbs or they're leaving like a smaller community and going to traveling or something in the city. So in my mind I kind of see like the Rolands, maybe they moved from San Myshuno because well, we'll get into that a little bit, but they moved away from San Myshuno to live in Willow Creek to have like a new fresh start. The first Sim that I decided to work on is Pheonix Roland. He is the baby brother of Tonya, who we'll see towards like the end of the video. I decided to start with Pheonix first because I have a tendency to always like, I don't know, I feel in a way The Sims 4 is like a dollhouse simulator, and I feel like people who grew up playing with dolls, they have it like, I feel like they have like a natural gravitation towards The Sims 4 because I don't know, it just does something to like our inner child. And so I feel like, I know me personally, like I didn't have like a lot of boy dolls. I mostly just played with the girl dolls. And so like whenever I play The Sims, especially when I'm messing with Create a Sim, because even though I create a Sim videos, I don't typically enjoy being in Create a Sim that much. So usually when I do like the female Sims, I will spend a long period of time working on my female Sims. Then I get like tired of being in Create a Sim and I don't want to do it anymore. So I was like, I'm going to work on Pheonix first because I want to give him all of my attention and focus and energy because I feel like I have a tendency to neglect my male Sims and they just come out looking like frumpy, but I feel like Pheonix, he's like a teen that's still trying to figure himself out. We'll learn as we play with them that Tonya and Pheonix, they had a pretty rough upbringing, and so they kind of like had to scrape by a little bit because they've basically been living off of whatever Tonya is able to bring in, which isn't much because in my mind, even though she is technically a young adult, in my mind I kind of see her as being a very young adult. Like she's barely in her 20s, maybe she's like 19 or 20. But I feel like Pheonix here, he does have a strong sense of style, and that's something that I kind of want to play with as we go along. Like I definitely see him like going to thrift stores, because even though, you know, he has to be, you know, budget friendly and stuff like that, I feel like he's very like I feel like at this moment in his life, he's very like he's exploring his style a lot more, and I feel like his story is a bit like complicated because I do feel like he, you know, wants to help support his sister, and he doesn't want her to kind of like have to do things or support the household on her own, and I feel like in a way he wants to chip in and help support her. But at the same time, like I feel like when I started building him, that sounds weird. When I first started creating him, in the way that I do it is I just like randomize a sim, and whichever one I like, I try to like fix it up a little bit more. I don't mess with the facial features too much because I don't know, I feel like when I have a tendency to mess with the facial features, I feel like they either look too perfect or they just look too similar. And I don't know, I feel like I like my Sims to kind of like reflect real life because no one really looks the same. Well, I mean, of course, like unless you're like you have an identical twin, then of course you might look like another person. But I feel like especially in today's society, like we have like this obsession of looking picture perfect. I feel like that doesn't like reflect real life, because in real life everyone looks different. Like they all, like everyone has like imperfections, and I personally don't want my Sims to look like models or like look super perfect. I want them to look like real average people. I don't think we'll be going with Pheonix every single day to high school, but I do plan on playing a little bit with high school years and going to school with him. I feel like he's naturally like athletic. I think I did give Tonya the active trait because I feel like both of them, like physically, they are very active, and I feel like with Pheonix, he kind of has this desire to maybe try out for the football team, not because he particularly likes football, but I think his motivation is to maybe hopefully get like some type of scholarship or something so that he can go to college, because I feel like that's something that his sister wants for him, because I feel like deep down that is also Tanya's desire. Like I think the way that I'm going to play with them is Tonya, she is eventually going to go back to school, but she's not going to go like off to university because she's going to stay on the home lot. So in my mind, that's like her way of going to like a community college, but she doesn't really want that for Pheonix. Like she had this dream and desire to go off to college one day, but of course she's had to like be the backbone of her household, so she wasn't able to do that, especially while Pheonix is still in school. So her dream for Pheonix is to go off to maybe to Bridgechester or Foxbury Institute, and that dream that Tonya has for her little brother is an expensive dream. So in order to kind of like help Tonya out a little bit, he has this desire to like be the best performer in football so that he can, you know, maybe one day get a scholarship and go off to college and create like a good future for himself. Because in my mind, I kind of saw him as like maybe being a little bit of a troublemaker. I did give him the traits of like, I think it's like the party animal, that's his aspiration, and then he's also a goofball and a bro. So I don't think he's like the brightest student ever. I mean, of course he tries, but I don't know, I feel like he kind of like has this personality that stands out from the crowd, and sometimes I feel like that might attract a little bit of trouble into his life. But I don't know, I feel like in a way his life might be a little bit stressful because he's not really sure what he wants to do. And another aspect that I want to explore while I'm telling his story is he currently exploring his sexuality, and I can actually see him getting with I think his name is Sydney Pierce or Sydney Price. He was one of the teens that came with high school years, and I think he's a cheerleader, and I think that'll be super cute for them. Like, I don't know what's going to happen because sometimes I come into my game with a certain expectation and a plan, and my Sims have completely different plans for themselves. So I don't know. We'll see as time goes. And I also think it'll be really interesting to, go to the thrift stores and let him explore his fashion sense. And maybe he can even make some more money out of that. And I feel like him doing that, I feel like Tonya might see it as, you're not going to be able to make any real money from doing that, but he might surprise her because I feel like Pheonix, I feel like he likes like finer fashion. Like he doesn't, but like even though he has to do it on the budget, I feel like he's able to like make his outfits look really cool. And I think like I kind of like the way that I did his clothes, I was like, I don't think these things match necessarily, but I feel like in a way Pheonix, he doesn't really care. Like he's able to like just throw outfits together, and even though they don't necessarily match per se, he's able to like pull these outfits off. Now, with Tonya, I'm not really sure how I would describe her style. Like, I don't think strict or, like, rigid is the right words to describe her. But I feel like she's very straightforward, and I feel like the best way to describe her is that she's very focused. She's very focused on getting herself where she wants to be. And I feel like a lot of people, when they go through situations where they don't have the best role models, sometimes they get in these situations and they repeat the same cycles. But I feel like Tonya is very dedicated to stopping or ending the cycles with her and her brother. So she's basically focused on making sure that he's on the right path. But I feel like that kind of leaves her feeling conflicted because I don't know, I feel like deep down, like she wants to do the right thing and make the right choices, but I also feel like there's a part of her that's kind of like missing out on having the young adult experience. I feel like because she's had to be an adult so long, she never really got the opportunity to let go and loosen up, and her focus has mostly just been on her studies and earning enough money to keep a roof over her and Phoenix's head and making sure that they have enough to eat. I gave her the traits ambitious, active, and perfectionist because, I don't know, those kind of traits make sense to who she is. I did think about giving her the trait of hating children or disliking children because, I don't know, I don't really see her desiring to want to have children in the future because of the way that she was brought up, like having to basically raise her baby brother. But I feel like disliking or hating children, it didn't really sit right with me because I don't feel like she dislikes having children. I just feel like at this current point in time, like she doesn't have a desire to have children. And even as she grows older, she doesn't really see like the pull in it. Like she doesn't see the catch because of her upbringing, basically, she doesn't really see the point of having children. And I also went back and forth on whether or not I would give her the unflirty trait because I feel like she kind of like has like a no nonsense type of energy about her. Like I don't feel like she really has a desire to be in any type of romantic partnership or mess around or flirt or anything that's going to like distract her from the path that she wants to be on. Like she has like a very no nonsense approach, and I feel like by the time that I upload this video, these two Sims will be up on the gallery. So if you want to play with them, you can, and you can kind of like develop their story as you see fit. I'm not really sure how I'm going to develop Tonya. In my mind, I kind of like see her like coming out of her shell a little bit more and becoming more comfortable in herself and like being more comfortable knowing that Pheonix is going to be okay. Like, of course, you could go like in a completely different direction with this family. If you choose to, like you can completely like make their lives even more miserable. But in my mind, I kind of like want to give them the life that they are deserving of, where of course Tonya can like accomplish all of her goals. And by the way, I think what I want to do when I get her into college, I think I see her being like a social worker, because in my mind I see her like being inspired to maybe help other young Sims like her and her brother in the future as being like a social worker, or maybe even getting into politics and making Willow Creek or San Myshuno a better and more fit place for all the people in the community. And who knows, maybe one day in the future, Tonya will find someone that shows her that it is safe to let go and, experience love and, be in a safe relationship, and maybe she'll even one day feel safe enough to have children of her own, or maybe she'll adopt or something like that. I don't know. If you want to, my gallery ID will be in the description, so if you want to play with these Sims and come up with whatever story you want to, feel free to go ahead and stick around to the end, because you'll be able to see all of their outfits, because I know when everything is sped up like this, it's kind of hard to see. But I think I'm going to end this voiceover here. I hope you enjoyed creating these Sims with me. Let me know down in the comments what you think of them, or if you would play with them, and what ideas you have for their storyline, or what you would do if you were to play with these Sims. If you enjoyed making these Sims with me, feel free to give this video a like, and if you enjoy The Sims 4, feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so already, because I have a bunch more creative Sims, speed builds, and let's plays in store for this channel. I think I'm currently working on a weekly upload schedule. If I can do more, then I will, but I'm definitely planning on sticking to my Monday upload, so don't forget to hit the notification button so you don't miss anything that I upload. And until next time, we will play again another time.